Oh my, unbelievable, eh? That's number 15 on the famous Monsters of Filmland magazine cover here. And I see here, I'm Zachary, by the way, and I see here I was supposed to judge a makeup contest back in those days. You people who are a little bit older now, and those of you who weren't even born yet or even thought of, were asked to send in, makeup picture of yourself in makeup, and I assume I judged it. I have no idea whether I did or not. If you are a winner, I hope you got something worthwhile. But the way things go these days, and then those days, maybe you didn't get anything. But the good fun that came from all this, I saw all these films, and back in, I guess, 58, 9, 60, somewhere in there, in Philadelphia, which is generally down that direction, and New York, which is over here, where I spent many happy years introducing spooky movies. They released these movies for TV, and there was an uproar, Frankenstein and Dracula, and the parents got together and said, we can't have this kind of thing in our households. And so in Philadelphia, at least, they showed them late at night, thinking kids wouldn't be allowed to stay up and watch them. But the kids found a way. And we became famous, of course. We, for some reason or other, we struck a nerve certainly among big city people. And here I found myself in this fabulous magazine here of the Ackerman.
This is Forrest J. Ackerman here from Outerwood, California for the Chiller Con, and I'm being mobbed by people who read my famous Monsters of Filmland magazine that I edited for 200 issues. They've all grown up now. They turn out to be Steven Spielberg and George Lucas and John Landis and Frank Darabont. Stephen King sent me his first story when he was 13 years old.
My father couldn't have been more modest and more conservative in his lifestyle. He lived in a manner that was anything but like a movie star. My father started out in repertory theater in British Columbia, and then he finally, after 10 years there, came down to Hollywood and was an extra for a long time. Then he did some bit parts, and then he found himself in the right place at the right time, and was lucky enough to be cast as Frankenstein's monster.
When this dead hand moves, the monster created by a man they called mad is turned loose to strike terror into the hearts of men. To shock women into uncontrolled hysteria. Elizabeth! To prey upon the innocence of children. This is the story you've heard about, talked about. The spine-tingling, blood-chilling story that stuns your emotions. Frankenstein.
Frankenstein was a Christmas present to the nation in 1931.
He never set out to do a particular type of film. He just set out to be a good actor, and he was the consummate professional no matter what type of role he played.
Now, you mentioned Frankenstein. Certainly that's the most famous. But at the same time, did they tell him with stage direction what they wanted from his facial expressions and his pathos, or was that something that he added to the role himself?
Well, I think the combination of the brilliant makeup of Jack Pierce and the very sensitive direction of James Whale and my father's personal interpretation of the role, that combination was magic and became part of cinema history.
Boris Karloff had just been a truck driver, although he'd been on the screen in minor parts for some years past, even into the silent era. But he was discovered by James Whale at a time that a number of other actors had been considered for the part. Of course, Bela Lugosi never tired of telling how he turned the role down because he had this wonderful Hungarian accented speaking voice, and when he discovered that he wasn't going to say anything, he wanted nothing to do with the part. He had to suffer considerably for the role of the monstrosity. His face was so frightening that no one around the studio could stand to have lunch if they had to sit near him, so they devised a device of having him walk around the studio lot with a huge handkerchief over his face. Jack Pierce, the man who created the facade of the Frankenstein monster, did a lot of experimentation before he got it just right. He looked at cadavers and the way that a skull would be removed from a head. So it was a fantastic collaboration between Jack Pierce, the makeup artist, and Boris Karloff himself, bringing pathos to the role.
Eventually, he grew tired of the role and wanted to move on to other things. What would you say his other favorite films were?
Well, it wasn't that my father grew tired of the role. He was forever grateful for the role because of the immense difference it made in his life, both personally and professionally. But he did not want to do more than the first 3 films because he did not want to participate in making the monster into the brunt of bad jokes and bad scripts. So he felt that he owed the role and the character a certain respect, and he felt 3 films had completed a logical storyline, and anything after that would make a joke of the monster, and he didn't want to participate in that.
Now, how about all the Frankenstein remakes that have been made over the years? Do you go to see them? What do you think of them?
Well, I think the remakes of the Frankenstein films, or the sequels to the 3 that he did, proved his point. The scripts were, at least in my opinion, not as strong, and in many instances the monster was the brunt of bad jokes and bad scripts thereafter.
Now, would you say if he had a favorite, was it the original, or was it the son or the bride?
I know that he disagreed with giving the monster speech in The Bride. However, it's supposed to be one of those few occasions where the sequel indeed surpasses in excellence the original.
He wanted a bride so badly that in the sequel he forced his creator to make one for him.
Two people are missing, and I want to know why they haven't come back.
Mr. Rowe, I imagine, would have us suspect foul play.
I leave my secret with you. It is all there. More power than man has ever possessed. Power to heal, power to destroy. The whole of the city is at the mercy of a gang of criminals, led by a man who calls himself the Kid. And I'm the only one who can find him for you.
I think his favorite probably was the original one, because it was not fashioned after anybody else's work or any other film, and I think that was his, of the 3 films, I know that was his favorite.
So that would be the original.
The original Frankenstein, 1931. But we have a company called Karloff Enterprises. Well, it has a twofold purpose. Its main purpose is to oversee the use of my father's name and likeness on commercial products and in commercials through the licensing process, and it enables the family to maintain a certain standard of appropriateness when the likeness is used. The second purpose is to those entities that we do license to help with their sales, to give them additional exposure on our website, and at the few shows we do. Chiller is one of the very few shows we do every year. We have developed some product lines ourselves, but mainly what we bring to these shows are the products of the licensees.
Okay. Now, what's the name of that website?
The name of the website is www.karloffenterprises.com. Karloff.com. And my email is karloff@karloff.com. Not .com, just Karloff@Karloff.
How did you think of something like that?
Just brilliant
It just
thinking.
came to you. Well, let me take a look at some of this work right on the table.
Okay?
All right. Now, can you tell us something about this
Well,
shot?
so this one?
Yeah.
This one was done by a friend of ours, Kevin Burns, who is the man who did my father's biography for A&E. He's an independent producer, Prometheus Entertainment at Fox, and he did this when he was 14 years old. It was a labor of love.
All right. Now, the shaved head.
These were from the Tower of London. These were from the Black Cat. This was done by an artist, Rush Jones. This was taken on the set of A Comedy of Terrors, this one. And I want to make certain people know that he's in makeup lest they think he died a derelict.
You say that's Vincent Price and Red Skelton.
Vincent Price, Red Skelton, and my dad. This is a mouse pad using the artwork from the postal stamp that was issued in 1997. Commemorative stamp. These three, plus the water bottle, are the artwork of Basil Gogos, a very well-known artist of the genre. My father always was well-rehearsed, knew his lines, but as far as staying in front of her, I don't think so.
Now, I'm not sure of this. Did he play the role of Imhotep in The Mummy?
Yes, he played both roles. He played Imhotep and he played Artemis Bay.
You will not remember what I show you now, and yet I shall awaken memories of love and crime and death.
The makeup for Artemis Bay, where there was like a road map of wrinkles all over his face, was that the same makeup artist?
Yes, Jack Pierce did the makeup for both, all three Frankenstein films, and also for The Mummy.
And again, when you see the special effects and the flashing colors and everything of the new Universal release of The Mummy or The Mummy Returns, what does it bring to mind? Do you have any emotion, positive or negative?
Well, I don't like scary movies, so I haven't seen either of the new Mummy films.
Well, I'll tell you, I haven't either. Because, you know, you can't top something that did not rely on blood and guts, did not rely on eerie color and oozing, syrupy blood. Your dad, Boris Karloff, William Henry Pratt, the calm, gentle man, could scare the heck out of you without color, without special effects.
That's true, and I subscribe to the theory if it isn't broken, don't try to fix it.